Big Boy
Big
Neighborhood.
Boy.
Alrighty now, man.
Yeah,
This is
man.
like a reunion going on in here.
Oh.
I learned so much from this man.
Yeah?
Yeah, and I wish I would have sat next to him a little bit more so I could have learned even more so. Dame Dash in the neighborhood, man. Welcome
Dame?
back to the neighborhood, bro.
It's a nice neighborhood.
Oh, thank
Yeah,
you,
man.
bro. Thank you. Thank you. The only thing is I don't own it. You know what I'm saying? Like I can put all this stuff on the wall, but I can't take it with me, bro.
Yeah, but you own your likeness.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
And you've built a brand. So.
Dame, I do want to ask you, man, and just straight out the gate, how important is that? Because we see a lot of people that come into the game now, and no pun intended, but y'all were like a blueprint to how people structure deals, how people look outside the box. You know what I'm saying? Like, how important is that, even more so today?
It was everything for me. That was my purpose.
Mm-hmm.
My purpose was to let everybody else eat that wasn't eating that deserved to, and to bully the bully, oppress the oppressor, and always give us self-awareness. Not one second that I was in the music industry did I ever act like I wanted to be with the people that were exploiting the artists.
Right.
The problem always was with the executives was I was like, nah, you're not doing that to the artist. And then, what an executive will do is play dirty and snarky and go start lying and do things that you wouldn't do or expect to do, and they just start to make a division between you and the person you're protecting by saying you'll get more money by not listening to them, when actually that money goes to them.
Let me ask you, man, how is it being so-called so unpopular to make sure that others around you were popular?
The funny thing is, number one, I don't care.
Right.
But number two, I feel very popular at all times.
Right.
If I'm the thing that people don't understand, I'm not a rapper, I'm not a singer, I'm not an actor. I'm a businessman.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that anyone even cares to me, whether they don't like it or do like it, on a business level or for a big picture guy, that's really all that counts. Like on a personal level, there's social classes, right? So there's one class that's meant to work for those that don't work.
Yeah.
And those that don't work are usually second and third generation. They're born into it. The reason why is those people own things and they pass it.
Yeah.
So what they do is they give another class, the working class, distractions, make them hate each other, make them want to do sports and only know how to do like what's lotto. Like we're only programmed to say the only way we could get out of a social class to be workers is to be athletes or to be entertainers. And that slot is like lotto. But even in school, they distract you and say, here's every team that can go professional. But there's no like political team. They never show you how to be a politician or how to change a law, or they have singing class and all this other, everything to distract you.
Yeah.
So, and that's lotto to win at that level.
Right.
So that means everyone that's trained their whole life to get there, which is 90% of the world, which is the working class, only 1% gets there. And that person that was an entertainer or is they get into the 1%. But only if they sell out and distract everyone else that they were a part of that helped them get where they got to go. And I'm just not down for that pattern. And it's strategic. It's not like, like the way nerds, people that aren't strong, control. People that are strong be like, whatever, you jump in front of me, I fight. But people that are weak, they have to be strategic about how they control. So brain controls muscle. And that's what's been happening. We've been controlled. We've been programmed to hate each other, kill each other, be happy to have a job, happy to work for someone else, and only happy to be able to take care of yourself. So everybody comes from a place of self-preservation. Everyone's always worried about themselves. And the purpose of love is to love people before you love yourself. But now, look at the way the system is set up. In school, they take your kids from you, and then they tell you, unless you go to college, and this is, the majority of the world, and the majority of the world is the working class. Unless you go to college, which you can't afford, unless you get a loan to go to college, you've done something wrong. So you go to college, you get that loan, and in order to pay off the loan, you got to get a job you don't want. And you still desperate. And in order to buy that house, because you paid that loan, you ain't got no cash. Now you got to get another loan to get the house. Yep. And so you always have to be working from backwards. You always have to be worried about yourself. And what I find when I'm around desperate people is they're all right with I got to do what I got to do to eat. They sometimes justify doing things that are not honorable to survive. So, everyone's always in a place of fear, a place of backpedaling and self-preservation, and that's the problem. The test is to love others before you love yourself, and that's what a real boss does. The test is to think about the future, not the present. Your present is only dictated by what you did in your past. So you got to start planning. It's chess, not checkers. Yeah. And that's really what I've always preached.
And I understand that, bro. Why did you and why do you care so much? Because sometimes people don't have that same.
Can't help it.
Yeah.
I don't know. It makes me feel good. I mean, it's just, I do it as I'm inspired. And when someone's in front of me and, not everyone else, but whoever's in front of me. If they giving me love, I give love back. That's all I know.
Building a network, bro, an enterprise, like anything Rockefeller, anything building that.
I thought you meant building a television network like I just built.
And we gonna get, you know what I'm saying? We got to get into everything, though. We gonna take our time.
Okay.
But building that, like, that was when a time where everybody just wanted to be associated with a major. Everybody just wanted to have a little bit of something. I want a T-shirt deal. I wanted this. I wanted that. But you guys came in and said, we're going to do it our way.
Well, what happened was, at a young age, I tried to do it the normal way because I thought it was normal. I was young. It didn't feel right. It didn't feel right for a nerd to tell me what's cool. It didn't feel right for me to give someone else that's not from my culture to sell it back to my culture. It didn't feel right the way they spoke to me, the way they spoke to other people around me. None of it felt right at all. And it's probably because I came from a place of independence where, I had to survive a different way. And, what happens, the consequence of disrespect and not playing the game honorably is death or jail. Mm-hmm. So, my game is a little different than everyone else's. The way I'm programmed, I'm boss. I'm programmed, I hit you with work. You don't hit me with work. I've been programmed like that from my block, 142nd Street in Lenox, since I was young. And I'm programmed that you don't take nothing from me. I make example out of you so you don't do anything or try it or no one else tries it. So that's just how I was raised. But what I was like, yo, you know what's different here? We fighting each other. I'm not doing that. I'm going to take this program. I'm going to put that on them. I'm going to take this block rock. I'm going to take this block hustle. And I'm going to put it on the people that don't have to work as hard, that are taking advantage, that are making us fight each other. I want them to feel that pain and that uncomfortableness that we have to deal with from the day we're born, and the patterns that are just programmed and put into us day after day. And we're thought to be number 2, but we really number 1. I'm not having it.
How hard? Not
hard at all. Everybody's weak. I'm telling you, this is a joke. It's just been me against the world. It hasn't been me and everyone else. It's been Dame against everybody.
How do you have that much fight in you, Dame?
Because everybody's soft. Suckers are soft. A bunch of unthorough people, 1 million unthorough people can't do nothing to one thorough person. I don't care what it look like. I'm here. And I look better than everybody else that been talking about. I'm doing better than everybody else that been talking about me, and I've been fighting on my own. It ain't no announcements. I give you that work. I don't even have to be liked and I'm still here. Or it might be look like I'm not liked, but they still buying it. See, in the street, you don't like the drug dealer. You like his drugs. You don't care if he's nice. You don't care. He doesn't promote his drugs. He's not saying thank you for buying. He says, get in line. I'm not taking 5s, only 20s. And if you talk too cute to me, I won't sell it to you at all. Now get out of here. You don't have to be nice when your work is good. You just have to be honorable and respectful. And the people I'm not nice to deserve it. People expect me to get punched in the face and not to beat somebody's ass. If I get smacked, I'm punching, period. There's a time and a place for everything. But the majority of my life, as you all see, I'm laughing, I'm happy. When I get in the ring, I'm just a fearless, ferocious fighter. I want that smoke.
Did that so-called scare the business?
What business?
Just like, the entertainment.
I'm not in that business. See, we in 2 different vibrations. I'm not in the soldier business. I'm in the general business. I'm not in the slave mentality business. I'm in the master mentality business. We playing 2 different games. When I look at something, I don't say, yo, how do I buy it? I say, how do I make it? You feel me? When I look at, I'm gonna make a TV show, I gotta have a network. I'm not making a record. I gotta have I don't look at things in that variation. I can't. I never have. I don't look at nickels. I only look at weight. I can't see nickels. Hey, I can't talk nickels. I'm not Jack Nicholson.
How do you got to look at certain things, Dame, and be not impressed by the game or how stupid some of this shit looks right now?
Every day.
Yeah,
that's why I try to help the game. See, I don't complain about it. I try to provide. What I do is provide economy. I give jobs. I give information. I show people based on what I go through what not to do. I don't hide nothing. I've signed on to making money with the people, not from the people, with the people. I'm rich, everybody eats. When I eat, everybody eats, and everyone will tell you that. That's the problem. Like, if I help 100 dudes and 10 run off, all right, but I'm not going to help the other 90. Yeah. There's always going to be thieves, insecure people that want to pretend they did something that they didn't. They always do. That's why guys like Brian White and Josh Weber and Mike Munster try to pretend they directed my movie and I made it because I did something so cheap and so good that they were like, oh, I got to have this. And then they want to paint a picture. Like, they always try to make a good guy look bad. just so that they don't look bad. But, it happens. These people are weak, and it doesn't matter what people think. It doesn't matter what people say. It doesn't matter. All that matters is what they do. All that matters is action. Everybody always worry about my tone. Worry about what my action. What's my action? Fuck what I say. What do I do? Now, everybody want to talk nice, but don't do shit. Everybody want to talk about things, but don't have any solutions. But they talk so militantly, but they just saying what's popular opinion, but they have no solutions. I come with a solution, and I fight frontline like a king, because a king fights with everybody. I fight. I don't never send somebody to do something I wouldn't do myself. I'm about that action. I gotta be. I gotta lead by example.
Hey, Dame, are people afraid of you to have a platform like your own network?
Of course they are. Everyone's afraid of me. That's robbing everyone. Yeah,
Right.
I'm gonna wake everybody up. Like I said, people hated me, like literally 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I went from hated to damn. Now he was dead right, and all he been trying to do was help us. And everyone that was saying he was wrong, everybody looking at them funny. And I knew that was gonna happen. I stopped having a publicist because I was like, yo, I don't even care about press. It don't matter. Look at our president.
Right.
Press don't matter. Fame matters. That's how superficial people are. Distraction matters. People don't listen to voice. Or what you're saying. They only listen to tone. If you sound like, you could be saying some losing shit but say it confident, people gonna listen.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. I be hearing this shit and I be laughing. It cracks me up. I listen to logic. I don't look the other way, and I think knowledge makes accountability. So once you know, you cannot look the other way. Then that makes your lesson way harder.
Hey, man, Dame, and early on, when we look fast forward, we see Kanye West. I remember how early you were with Kanye as well. What did you see in Kanye that everyone saw years later?
Fearless. He's fearless. He don't give two fucks. He's fearless. He gonna do what he want, when he want, how he want, in front of the whole world, and that's how I taught him.
And you know what I love about that? There's people get into Dame this. He's uncontrollable. That's you. That's it. That's Kanye. Like, it's crazy how people say, "Oh, you can't control him," and like that's a bad thing.
No, it means you can't monetize him when you want to. That's what that means. You gonna control another man. Yeah, he might not show up if he don't want to. He ain't got to. It's him. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah, you can't control it. And that's exactly what he's exactly what I wanted. That's exactly what I wanted Kanye to be. Exactly what he is. A disruptor, a world shaker, but he's always respectful to the people that deserve it. But he invokes emotion, and he's great for the economy. And like I tell everybody, I ain't seen nobody got a black man that doesn't play any sport having white kids on their feet. And that means a lot to us because it hasn't happened before. Yeah. So I'm a bigger picture guy. I like he's turned into Michael Jackson. Yeah. So to me, the world is a completely different place. A lot less entertaining and a lot less to talk about without Kanye.
When was your last time you spoke with Kanye?
The other day.
Okay, so what's your relationship now? Do y'all not feed off each other? Is that steel sharpen steel?
Hell yeah. Every time. Listen, when he speaks, trust me, we spoke. You hear him. He's talking about culture vultures and all that, right?
Yes, sir.
He's talking about farming and all that, right?
Yes, sir.
Look at his business model. It looks a little familiar, don't it?
Say it.
So you look at what he does. That's what people don't concentrate on, is his business model. You notice he's not in any Live Nation venues, right? He's in churches, so that means he controls the streaming. That also means he's selling merch every single time he's there, direct to consumer, no middleman. The man made $1 million in the theater. No one said nothing about that. See, I'm a businessman, so I look at the bullshit. Everybody looking at the distraction. See, a certain mentality of soldiers and slave mentality, they worried about one thing, but the bosses is looking at another. Two different languages.
Yeah. Amen. And once again, I do ask, why do you care? And it's not a bad thing, because I'm telling you, bro.
I'm gonna tell you why.
Yeah.
Because before I got there, that's what got me there, my ideals. And I just think it's my block I come from. I'm from, like, I grew up, like I was born, or like I lived on 109th and 1st, which is 1199. That's where Dave East is from. And Cam was there as well, Malik Yoba, a lot of people with it. But I used to hustle on 142nd and Lenox. And the ideals on that block is just, you're so tough about love. You do anything for your brothers and people. It's just, the bottom line is, the world makes things happen to you and you survive certain things, and so other people don't have to go through it. That's our job. I just think I figured out that the way to be loved is to give love. And unless you know how to love yourself, you don't know how to give it. And I've been a person that's been making people. I've been in one-way relationships where I make people rich and they don't make me shit. I give them a platform and they don't give me shit. And sometimes They kick back, and sometimes they don't, but my agenda is never money. My agenda is inspiration and what I think that vibration is going to do for the rest of the world in that moment. And once I don't like it no more, I do something else. So you got to think about something, man. Like, it's not normal that a guy could just do fashion, just do music, just do electric cars, just open up art galleries, just direct. Yeah, everything I do, and I just put out a rock record. Like, I do everything. I think I'm superhuman. I know I'm superhuman because I do things that other people don't. So I'm superhuman, and I'm going to embrace that. And that means I'm a superhero, and I don't have regular problems, and I'm not going to be mad at what regular people are mad at or people that aren't doing what I'm doing. I don't have those issues. I don't have to worry about being hired or fired. I never have. I've never had to worry about what somebody thinks or if I'm going to be late or when I could go on vacation. I don't even understand that. It's never happened. So that's unthinkable for some people, but what's people's regular life for me is unthinkable, and I'm a normal guy. No one gave this to me. I came from a regular block. And I'm not a rapper. I'm not a singer. I'm famous for having an opinion and standing behind a point of view and articulating myself well. And then also being about that action. I don't talk about it. I be about it. What I'm launching today has nothing to do with what I did 10 years ago. Rockefeller's a feather in my cap, and it's cool, but I launched Rachel Roy. I did DD 172. I launched art galleries all around the world. I made oil factories. You know, I do everything. I make makeup. I make everything. I make the socks I got on right now.
Yes, sir.
Your socks.
You know what I'm saying? So it's not normal. I know it's not normal, but I'm just having fun living. There's the day you're born. There's the day you die. That dash in between is the life. That's me. Life is the dash. And that's how I look at it.
You have this great outlook at life, and I would love to know what your outlook is when you, in your past, have had a setback. How do you
I've never
approach
had a setback but death.
Okay.
That's the only setback is health and death and jail. Other than that, those are just life tests.
So, like,
what's a setback?
Like, if a friend comes to you and they feel like they failed at something, what would you tell them to change that perspective of the word failure?
Turn a loss into a learning experience. Do it again until you get it right, period. You never did anything right the first time. Practice makes perfect. It's just like you ain't gonna make a muscle the first time you pick up a barbell. Right. You gotta fucking do that shit and do it for a while. Then your blood pumps and then you fucking strong. Go get strong. Pull your skirt up. That's what I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna be nice about it. I'm sick of that shit. Everybody's depressed because they're trying to fit into a puzzle. They're trying to be a fucking circle in a square. And you're told what to do and you're told what to eat and you're told what's good and bad and what the perspective of success is. Success is love. Success is your family. Success is how much you laugh. I don't care how much money you got in the bank. If you got a crooked smile, if your people around you don't want to be around, your breath stinks and all that other shit, you're broke. Period.
Right.
You're broke. If you have nothing to fight for, you're broke. You have nothing to love, you broke. Period. Money means nothing. There's no goal supporting that dollar. You look at the Federal Reserve, it's all a Ponzi scheme. They give you a dollar that's not backed by nothing, just so a bunch of different families could eat. And we're all, our Social Security numbers are just businesses that the government gets loans off of. So why are we fighting over that? And also another thing about school is, you know, I've been doing a lot with the ancient history, Billy Carson and all that, you know, forbidden knowledge, understanding what they don't tell us, the Dead Sea Scrolls and the Emerald Tablets and all that stuff. It all involves us not being, us being made, genetically modified by Anunnakis to be slaves. That shit is an ancient text, but nobody says that. You understand what I'm saying? Why they don't teach us all of those type of things? I want to know what the fuck they're not teaching us that, because everything that we're not taught is meant to control us. You feel me? Like in our Bible that people read right now, it says, obey your slave master in the Bible. So that had to be written by a slave. And how do we listen to any law that was made 50 to 100 years ago? Because they were made by people that had slaves. So how do we listen to any education or any law made by anyone that had a slave? All that shit should start over. But back to what I was saying about the pyramids and all that. Billy Carson's been going through all the hieroglyphics and all of the text. Is there school in any hieroglyphic? You hear any school?
Nope.
No. I've never heard of that. I've never heard of kids being taught by other people's, or kids letting other people's parents teach them that are mediocre, that make, not what I make. How could a teacher tell my kid how to be better than me? Or how to teach my kid how to be better than me? And they haven't done anything I've done. Why do they keep teaching them about algebra? Like, yeah, maybe 1% of the world wants to be a mathematician or an engineer. Yeah. But why is that in the curriculum? How come health and therapy and paying taxes and all the things that help? Why do they spend so much time distracting us and making us think something is supposed to be 9 to 5, great life? Like, we're really meant to work, get up early our whole life and only relax when we're 90? That does not make sense.
What do you think a teacher's role should be now?
To lead by example.
Yeah.
To say, don't listen to me, go out there and live. To me, it makes more sense instead of paying, because, my daughter's college costs $60,000 a year. I would rather invest $60,000 a year into her business and let her learn that way. Because there's no teacher can teach my daughter about business. But because a teacher has told my daughter, unless you go to school, you failed. Since she's been 6 years old, she really feels, because she could be a supermodel right now. Like, she wants to be a model. She's running, but she's told, and her mother and all that, you got to go to school, or else you failed. Unless you get a college degree, which has been implemented by, again, the same curriculum 100 years ago, the same people that were meant to not physically enslave us, but mentally enslave us, and we're still listening to their education. Is that logical?
It seems like even growing up, the one thing you always heard is make us proud. By how? Graduating, going to college.
Right. By having debt.
Yeah.
By paying for something you can't afford to teach you some shit that's not going to help you.
That thing means something different now.
Like it means, and again, the people that are not usually our color, from a different culture, patting us on the back. Good job. You just paid me to tell you that you're smart. That's ridiculous.
So what's the empire that's Dame Dash now? Like, we had a chance to sit down. We were talking about the art galleries and everything, bro. You know, and that's like stuff that the average, we don't think about. We weren't thinking about ownership. I was in Radio Dame for a while before I even owned my show. Right. You know what I'm saying?
And they didn't volunteer that information, did they?
Not at all, bro.
That's the problem. No one gives information. That's the reason they thought we were blind, and I woke people up.
Yeah.
So that's all it was. Again, the slavery is a choice thing. It wasn't then, it's now. Slavery is a mental choice. You can call yourself a slave, be a slave. You can call yourself a master and be a master, period. Call yourself a boss and be a boss, or call yourself a worker and be a worker. But you got to work hard to be a boss. That's what a boss does.
When you put so much in to so much, Dame, how does it make you feel when it doesn't come back?
It always comes back because the experience was learning. And I have fun every second. I'm not doing nothing for dough. I'm doing it because I'm having a ball.
Yeah.
I'm having a ball. I've been having a ball. Like, I can't believe my life. This shit is hilarious.
Dame, my first sit-downs
awesome,
was always you and Jay. You know what I'm saying? Every sit down we first come together, it would be us three, probably Fuzz sitting in the room with us as well. And I saw what looked like what y'all were building together. You know what I'm saying? And I saw you in the front going. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you need even with me, I need hey, you go handle that, the no man, the fuck that, he's the asshole. Sometimes you need that. Right. You know what I'm saying? And I saw that
business, you have to have that.
And I saw that
that's like
was
having
no
an army
gaming.
without a gun. How you gonna win a war without a weapon?
So
you can't win a war being nice, bro. You can't take nothing being nice. No one gives you anything. Taking does not involve being so nice.
Where are you and Jay-Z now when I saw y'all building an empire that I thought was going to always be together?
We have fundamental differences. I'm about making other people famous and rich and equal. That's what I wanted with Rockefeller. And he wanted to be the boss and have people work for him for 25 years straight, which is what happened. So, I actually feel sorry for my fallen angels because I've taught people to share. I've taught people to be equal, not to work for. I can't have my friends working for me. Mm-hmm. Couldn't do it. They got to be my equals. And that's what I believe in 100%. And everyone should be equal. It shouldn't be a king. Everyone should be a king. Everyone should have their own kingdoms. I make kings. I don't make slaves. I don't want nobody dependent on me. When people get around me, I make them independent of me, as you noticed. Wow. And if they want to stay around, they can. So what I've done is made everyone around me a king. Kanye's a king. Jay's a king. Kevin Hart's a king. Lee Daniels, king. You know what I'm saying? But all there you go. I don't know what's politically correct. But everyone that comes around me becomes a boss in their own right. I don't let them work for me. It's like, go fly, pelican, fly. Now, if you fall out when you don't do the ideals I taught you and you take everything I teach you and you make it for yourself and then you got other people looking up to you and just kissing your ass your whole life, that ain't me.
When was the last time you talked with Jay-Z?
I don't want to talk about Jay-Z.
No, come on, Dame.
Why?
Because we're having a full conversation.
You know why
here.
it's not fair? Because he doesn't talk about it.
I hear
and
you.
Every time I talk about the situation, number one, this is what you know. No matter what, I feel he robbed me, period.
Okay.
And no matter what, I'm always going to feel that way. So you're never going to, like if I hit somebody with some work and they run off, I forgive it. It don't bother me. But if you ask me about that person, I'm like, nah, he ran off.
Right.
So the way he goes about moves with my business, I'm not talking about nobody else's, but personally, the way he did me was dirty. The way he did Biggs was dirty. The way he did Rockefeller was dirty. So he told L.A. Reid, I want Rockefeller. I don't want Dame and Biggs down. And we was like, damn, I'd have left. And when I had the conversation, I said, yo, I want to look like a boss. I can't look like a boss around you. I thought that was dirty. The shit he did with Rockware, that was dirty. When he said he wasn't going to be a part of it while I was selling it and devalued it. And then, I stepped away from it because I needed to go do my own thing. Then all of a sudden they do a big deal like that. That was dirty. You know, they put me, I mean, that was dirty. It was dirty business. And that's how I feel. So anytime you ask me, I'm not salty for life.
Right.
But with him, yeah, I'm salty. That was whack. And look, there's no more Rockefeller. It's just him. Where's Rockefeller? It's Jim, there's Kanye, and who else? Everyone works for them. And that's not what I saw. Everybody was supposed to be equal. And that's what I was doing. And when at the height of Rockefeller was when the plug got pulled. Interesting. But nobody says anything. So I'm always going to feel that way. And if you ask me, I'm going to tell you, I don't have to be politically correct because I'm not in that world. So also, you know, I'm not worried about the repercussion or recourse of that business. Why? Because we ain't in the same business. I got a television network. I haven't been in the same business as him since Rockefeller. We do different shit. I put up my own money, and I'm not talking about that man. I really don't want to because everyone says, oh, you hate it, and this, and that, and the third. Nah, but I hate the way he did business with me. That was wrong.
And you can, and that's
my personal business.
Exactly.
I could talk about my business. Y'all could see what y'all gonna be doing, not y'all, but y'all gonna be judging my business now. Y'all gonna be like, why he reacting about that? Because it's not your business. You're not a boss. You never put up no money. You don't know how it feels to pay somebody and for them to run off. You don't know how it feels to do that because you never did it. You don't have nothing for somebody to take. Until you got somebody to take, or you ever gave somebody something, don't ever tell me how to feel or how to react. But all I know is this. I don't make money off of nothing Rockefeller right now. Nothing. I'm not doing none of that. Everything I'm doing is new. No one says I'm the executive producer of the #1 show on the WE channel for the last 5 years. I got my own television network. I got my own streaming service. I got my own liquors. Poppington. Rachel Roy, which I got robbed for just a second ago, but we'll get to that. There's so many different things that no one talks about.
Yeah.
And I wonder why. Because there's a narrative here. Because I always hear that, don't end up like Damon. Why? You gonna end up happy?
Right.
You gonna end up with your own? You gonna end up with your kids going to anything and doing anything they want? You know what I'm saying? My kids don't have to be in a certain class. I worked hard for that. And they will work, but they will be boss work. It will not be physical work unless they choose it. And I did that so they don't have to. That's if they're not spoiled, that's just what you do. You know, the problem with our culture is there's no second or third generation money. Everybody black right now that got money is first generation.
Say it.
You know, that's an adult.
Hey, Dame.
Show me some second generation money from America black. You know how hard it is to be first generation and start out with no credit?
Yeah.
And that's what's fucked up. And that's how they create it. They make the banks like, yo, we give loans, but only if you have credit. How the fuck you get credit without credit? You ain't got a house to leverage or somebody to co-sign? Who the fuck we know gonna say, yo, I'm gonna let you fuck my credit up? Not in the hood. So it makes it where you can't get no credit. And then when the banks get fucked up, they get bailed out. That's why Byron Allen really started putting money on motherfuckers' heads, because they kept bailing the banks out, but the banks ain't giving black people no loan. But nobody's talking about that. Those are the real issues. We talking about records and we talking about opinions and bullshit. Those are distractions. We should talk about learning how to pass laws, learning how to pass bills, learning how to be politicians, learning how to help people. We're all worried about social things and living vicariously through other people. Because we all hate our lives, I don't live vicariously through nobody's life. I live through mine. Period. I ain't worried about nobody else's business. That shit don't yield. Only way I want to talk about somebody else is if it's going to profit. If it don't make me no money, or if it doesn't involve my soul, it's sucker shit. Period. If you don't learn from it, it's sucker shit. So when I say something, every time you hear me talk, I ain't talking about no sucker shit. I'm talking about shit you can learn from. I'm talking about things that if you apply will make you a better person. I don't have to do that.
Do you feel like sometimes we don't listen?
You never listen. What do you mean?
What are some of those bad business mistakes that people do make?
They give up all their ownership.
Say it.
That's what they do for a check. And also when people come and say, you got to get rid of him so you can get more money, that's where you be dead wrong.
Yeah.
You know, the bands that are the most successful, like the Rolling Stones, they never broke up. That's why they're still fucking touring, making $350 a ticket till they're 78, doing arenas, because they never broke up.
And show up.
And show up and don't break up.
Yeah, man.
You can't let somebody always divide you because of money, because money don't mean shit. Yeah. Family and happiness is priceless, and respect means everything.
Have you seen a lot of divide and so-called conquer on some scheme?
Everything.
Yeah.
What do you mean? That was Leor's favorite thing. Leor Cohen, that's his favorite thing. Barry Clawberg, the lawyer that I paid $250 a year and $1 million to pay my taxes, just didn't. And also, there's no. That's another thing is accountants and lawyers. They just have. There has to be some laws passed to make them accountable, because they fuck your shit up and then you have to be left dealing with it.
Yeah.
So every problem I had, I paid for it, not to be. But they did it wrong or did it what was in their best interest, and then they break the fuck out. And to prove that they did it when you don't have so much bread, of course, it's a lengthy, long process. Yeah. So it's all built strategically for someone that's not savvy and that, because fear controls everything. I'm just not scared. And that's why I have so much fun.
Hey, Dame, and this is real. This is me really talking. I don't do a lot of social media. I've never been on Facebook, nothing like that. But I do want to ask, what just happened
What?
with the arrest?
Oh, so that was some
And
bullshit.
this is a real, like,
I'm
I
telling
don't
you.
know.
I'm telling you.
Okay.
That was some bullshit. So what happened was, me and Rachel own a company together, Rachel Roy.
Mm-hmm.
And she's the manager. You know, I invested $6 million in the company. It was like, yo, that's for you. So my children, my daughters will look up to their mother. Y'all good. And I made her the manager of the company, which means, you know, she's the one that has the signing and all, you know, manage the company. I'll never do that again when we got divorced. And I also set it up through the court that when the money comes in the company, she cuts the check for her child support. She cuts the check for Lucky, mother Cindy's child support. And then whatever bills or, you know, whatever debt I have, and then whatever's left comes back to me. We had a situation where we had to sell the company, or I had to come out. Jones was doing something that was unfair. I came out, I stopped it. She hires Donald Trump's lawyers because she's cool with Melania Trump. We all used to be. Mark Kasowitz. And instead of representing her, he represents her in the company, and they do a deal where, number one, I had a deal where I was buying the company back completely. But because she was the manager of the company, she wouldn't approve it. So she did a deal with this group called Tops and Downs, bought the company from Jones. We had to dilute. And the money that was profit that was coming into the company now went to overhead. So if I was making $1 million a year before, a profit, and it was coming into this company as profit, now all of a sudden all this overhead is on it, $1 million, so I'm not seeing nothing. In that overhead is Rachel's salary. Now, look, I don't know all of this. Now, Rachel doesn't pay the child support. Also, throughout the deal, this lawyer that's down with Marcos, his name is Barry Rostovsky. I keep forgetting his name. He gets paid, they get paid like 500 racks that I don't sign off on outside of the company. So the company doesn't make any money, and she's getting a salary. The child support's not getting paid. I don't know. We're both in New York. We go to L.A., because she moves to L.A., I moved to L.A. I'm trying to get everything moved over. Gave her 50 racks. When I left, gave Lucky's mother 150 just for the house, because I didn't like the way he was living. Like, get a house. And I moved, and all of a sudden I get a call like, oh, we're not getting child support. I'm like, what do you mean? You're supposed to be paying child support. And all of a sudden I got warrants. And I'm like, how do I get warrants? I'm here. Because I wasn't there to get served. Now, which is the funny trick, this dude, Donald Suarez, is the lawyer for both Cindy and Rachel for the family court. So she doesn't pay the child support on purpose, moves to L.A., I'm in L.A., and all of a sudden I got 2 warrants. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Now, 1 warrant's in the Bronx and 1 warrant's in, downtown. So that means even if I pay the warrants, no matter what, when I go in, because you have to show up, they're gonna pick me up and bring me over. And, I had to pay the money before I went in. I paid it. You understand? Let me just get to the end of that. So anyway, so they did this. So what happened was my interest went to auction, because when you don't pay the child support, now my interest goes to auction. And it was at auction at a price like, $900,000, which is crazy. And no one would buy it because they're cooking the books. They're not showing a profit.
Right.
So no one would buy it. And she's not the man. Oh, so and then when she didn't cut the check, she steps down as manager, and my interest has no manager. And we have to agree to a manager, so she never agrees to a manager, so we just keep getting robbed. And there's nothing I can do because I got 2 warrants. You understand what I'm saying?
Hell
And then when I'm trying to pay the shit, okay, so anyway, the Lee Daniels money comes through.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
You pressed for that. I ain't mad at you.
Now, I wasn't pressed. I mean, I gave him $2 million. I need
Right.
it back, period.
Yeah.
But that's another thing. But, it's public. I got $2 million, so they snatched that child support, right? And I'm cool with it. Pay it. I don't care. It's $1 million, whatever it is. And I wanted it done. And Rachel wouldn't sign off on the deal to pay it. She goes to Italy. She goes to France, all over. So it's 4 months. I'm trying to go and be like, yo, I want to do this. She won't do the deal. Miraculously, all of a sudden, someone buys the interest for $900,000. And it's her same lawyer.
Wow.
So now, I had the money, but so that paid it. You understand what I'm saying? It already paid it. And was trying to pay, but she just wouldn't let me until she got the money. And after sacrificing me seeing my child, all this public bullshit, but I'm going to deal with it in another court. To me, it just plays itself out. But, that's what happened. So, this group Tops and Downs, this dude Danny Amovich, Joe Tate, they out here. They all conspired. So the group Tops and Downs, Rachel, Mark Kasowitz, Donald Suarez, and my other baby mother. Cindy.
Damn.
All of them were all in all of it, and just publicly killing me. So I'm like, yo. So again, when I went in and to the first court, I was, the warrant, it's dismissed, whatever. I walk out, 7 motherfuckers around me, homicide. I'm like, come on, bro. I mean, I knew it was gonna happen. I'm like, you already know I'm going over there. Oh, and it was lunch, so they just took me someplace and got me there quicker. It was almost like I had a police escort, and I just walked out like a gangster, and that was it. Period.
Yeah.
But the real reason why the cops were there, right, or knew, was because this other donkey head lawyer, Chris Brown, the lawyer, who I'm in a lawsuit with like I said, this dude Josh Weber, that are pretending that they stole a movie, or they did steal a movie and pretending it's theirs. And Brian White, an actor, is pretending he directed my movie. I have all the footage of me directing the movie on tape. You understand? But they still trying to get cute, because what they did, another cute, we did the movie in L.A. Josh lives in L.A., I live in L.A., but they do the thing in New York, because I can't come to New York because of the warrants. So it was just strategic to do it in New York, because he didn't think I could get that money, and then I would just go on a default. And that's what was happening. And that's what happened. They weren't expecting me to have the bread. They weren't expecting me to come in. And then the next day I have to look in front of a guy that just tried to get me arrested. And, a deposition happened. But in between the questions, I was torturing him. But in between the questions, like, who cares? I don't have to be polite. It's not illegal.
Right.
But he went into court and tried to act like he couldn't do the deposition. It was like, nah, in between I was giving you hell. And then his dumbass, Christopher Brown, the lawyer, gives it to TMZ, the footage. And now it's all over. And, I don't know. It's just crazy. But either way, I just give people, it's a bigger game. It's rope for them to hang themselves in another court. And it's all documented. So I'm like, y'all really doing this, but I don't think they look at the future like I do. So I'm cool with it. If I know a punch is coming and I can brace my face for it, it doesn't hurt. Yeah. So when I walked into New York, I already knew they were locking me up. I prepared everybody. I was like, I'll be out in a second. Don't worry about it. I already paid for it. Just make sure the picture look good. That's all I care. I know what they're going to try to do, but who cares? I don't care what they try to do. It doesn't matter. I'm the boss. If I had to worry about being hired, yeah. But my work is good, so it doesn't matter. I can't get fired. I'm not Harvey Weinstein. I can't get fired from a job or a company that has my name on it. I own my company. No one funds mine. A lot of these celebrities, they pretend they got money, but they're just the face of a fund. Look under the hood. Right. And you'll see every time somebody say they bought something, just like, who I respect, Byron Allen. See, he was on, well, the reason why is when they asked him, like, yo, you bought the Weather Channel for $300? No, I got a loan for that. But someone would say, yeah, I bought it for $300. Nah, in business, nobody puts up their own money but me. I'm the only one that's dumb. Everyone's the face of somebody else's money. They get 10% of it, and then they say they own it. Period. But that's not real business to me. At least that's not the kind of business I'm in. I'm in the boss business. I'm the fund. I'm the fund business. I'm in the celebrity leverager business. That's not me.
Hey, Dame, I do want to fast forward to Hassan that's here.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And what was the reason? And I want to get Hassan in here so we can talk about, because with everything, man, like, people always try to talk about yesterdays. I want to get into today's, to nows, and tomorrows. Right. And I'm telling you, man, like, just sitting back, Dame, even the conversation today, but even just sitting back, I learned, and I think a lot of people could say the same thing. They learned a lot from you, bro.
If they didn't.
And even just watching, even probably not being straight next to you, but even watching how you would go into a meeting, how you didn't beg for anything, how you didn't say, can I, and and just want to be the part of the machine. Sometimes, bro, you gotta rattle it up, and you put a lot of tuition into
all the time.
And you paid a lot.
You gotta be disruptive, bro.
And you paid a lot of tuition into the School of Experience for a lot of others.
Yeah, the School of Fun. It's been rock and roll, bro. I mean, there's nothing in my life that I would say I wouldn't. Only thing that was the most painful thing was the loss of Aaliyah.
Yeah,
that's it. Other than that,
and that's what you said, death.
But other than that, what the fuck? What's the big deal? Like what? Like a bad press? What is that? I mean, people just got to be butthurt over nothing. I mean,
and some people just want to be a part of something just to be a part of it, no matter how foul it is.
That means they hate their life. If you hate your life so much that you want to pay so much attention to someone else's and that's what you enjoy, that's your escape, you got to get your life together. I don't enjoy talking about other people. I enjoy talking about me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand how someone could take any joy in talking about either someone doing good or bad.
Are you on social media?
Yeah, dust go popping.
Like, so, yeah, but I'm talking about you use your social media probably as a tool because
for
it's
business and both.
Yeah.
But the thing is, my business is me.
Yeah,
my business is my lifestyle. So I'm an open book. I don't have a choice now. So if you're going to be writing about me, fuck it, see everything. But I'm not doing it to look popular. I'm doing it to show you the reality of what's going on. I'm living the life I want to live, and that's real wealth. Because if you let them paint it and control the narrative, I'm fucking living in a shelter. And, you should come to my crib.
Man, I would love to be in that shelter.
Yeah. And you should see, I'm talking about, like, the thing about it is a lot of people's lives are only good when they're on the road. But they're not good when they get home.
Hey, Damon, we think we want certain companies or we want this, that. How in the hell does one go and say art? You know what I'm saying? Like, and not just I'm buying a picture, but how does one see the whole vision of, like, a gallery and actually put on shows like, because we used to be hip hop in the box.
Yeah. Well, I'm a very sophisticated guy. You know what I mean? I have good taste.
Right. Good.
And I've always loved art. And only thing you need to make a gallery is walls.
Mm-hmm.
So, instead it's just a narrative. I call it a gallery as a gallery. And I put art on it, and people come in. If they buy the art, I get 50% of it. That's the art business. But what it does is it brings very artistic people together. So, art brings all kind of creatives together. Actually, I always have a collective. So, because when someone's good at editing, they're usually good at a lot of other things.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's good at rapping or singing. They're good at acting. They're good at painting. Like, creatives are just creatives. And, sometimes people only do what they think they can do. If you don't know the business, you just say, oh, I can't do it, so I don't, just like an art gallery. See, me, I'm always thinking on how to do it, and it's usually not that hard. And then I also look at who does it, and then I compare myself to
yeah, like he can do it.
I can do it.
Are you afraid of anything, Dame Dash?
Being afraid. I hate being afraid. Being scared, I can't do it. I don't like it. Like, like other day, actually, like Rocky, I was buying some shoes yesterday in New York. And she came in and said, I'm not going to say anything. And then she walked off. And I was scared for a second because in this moment, that could be anything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I was like, what? And she wasn't telling me. So I was mad at her because I said I felt fear. And I don't like the way it feels. Don't make me feel fear for no reason, ever. Like, don't say, yeah, forget it and walk off. That's I got to know.
Right, yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? But I just don't like the way fear feels.
Man, Hassan, have a seat, man. So, welcome to the neighborhood, man.
Man, yes, sir. Dream come true.
How does this come together, bro? Like, give me the so-called backstory, because I know before Dame Dash could get next to someone, you got to pay your own way. There's got to be a value there, or else we'll all be next to Dame.
He definitely bogarted.
Yeah, but you got to bogart the right way.
He did. He did.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
He did it.
So what's the background with you, fam?
Yeah. I mean, like how we met.
Yeah, even before you met. You know what I'm saying? Like, what was that introduction to music? Was it home plate?
Thank you. Yeah. I mean, I also just want to sidebar real quick. Say this is a huge honor, and this is like y'all like superhero characters. So
thank you, brother.
Like, being in this right now is like.
Thank you, cause Dame made us feel small as a motherfucker. No. For the last 40 minutes, I was like, shit. I was like, man, I need to go. I'm about to walk down the hallway, damn near slap the shit out of somebody. Dame, you don't know how empowering talking to you is, though, bro. And it's you have no idea, bro. Like no idea what your conversation meant today, bro. Like no idea, especially with some of what I'm going through and what I'm seeing. Yeah. No idea, bro. Like you put a value on something that's unbelievable. Go ahead, Hassan.
Yeah. So, basically, I started kind of as a producer, making beats. I actually came out here and first started interning for Nick Cannon, actually.
I know that.
Yeah. And through that, I actually met a dude named Malik Youssef, who worked with Kanye. And through that, I kind of just was like working on production stuff and, flew out to New York to work on Yeezus, just with my own money. Like, yo, I just want to be around. Like, how can I be a part of it? Through that, Che Pope at the time, who was running Good Music, started kind of managing me. So just kind of like production stuff. And actually at the Yeezus tour, backstage, we was walking out and I had introduced myself to you. Wow. And I was like, yo, I know everyone says this to you, but one day I'm going to be on the show.
Hey man, let me and I'm gonna tell you one thou wow. I don't remember that actual, but I get people all the time, not all the time. And when people tell me that, I believe it, bro, because I've seen it. You know what I'm saying? And so anyone that's watching now, somebody probably I know told me that a few days ago.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that they see this now.
Yes.
And you said it.
Yes.
And you in here.
Man, this whole thing, that's why I want people to understand, like, this whole thing is astral projection. Like I was watching this thing the other day on like parallel universes, and like, man, this is like to have an album executive produced by Dame Dash, like, you know, have a whole documentary where I'm playing my album for Kanye, me sitting in front of you, all y'all. Like this whole thing is like, yeah, it's astral projection. Like since
And I didn't meet him through music.
yeah.
How did y'all meet?
My son. So my son was hanging out with him, and he actually had a plug for a factory, and ended up I started to make my clothes there. So I appreciated that part of him. Pause. And even him and my son fell out, you know, like on some dumb shit. I don't know what happened. But he still would come around. Like every event that I would go to, it would be like, I thought it was like 4 of them. He'd be at every event everywhere I went, and I don't go out that much. So he was always out. And then when I opened the gallery, he came through, and again, out of respect for the plug that he gave me with the factory, he was like, "This is dope. I want to do some artsy shit," and blah, blah, blah. And he was always talking some of this kind. He's how he talk.
Right.
So I was like, go ahead, do your thing, because that's how I see if someone's really about. Because I'm about like capturing culture as it's happening, and I'm old, you know, or older than the people that are actually at the forefront of culture because they're outside every day. So I like to bring it inside. So he did something that was cool. Tell him what your event was. You can actually show it. It's on day.
Yeah. So basically, I did like a beat auction where, because I was tired of emailing beats.
Right,
I was
right,
like,
right.
yo, if you respect the creative, you go to the theater, watch the movie. You know, if a painter, you go to their gallery, and they control the environment, the temperature of the room, the lighting. You know, so I was like, yo, I just want to do a thing where I play beats in real time, and then there's QR codes on the wall, and you scan your phone on the QR code and place a bid on the beat in real time. So whoever places the highest bid gets sent
like
the
videos of
stems
the beats.
directly
yeah.
to their phone.
So it was like right in line with the artsy fartsy shit that I like, and people were dancing and, you know, painting, and it was great. So he brought culture. I said, okay, you got a culture movement, and then he went to the studio and made a banger, this kind of controversial record called Sam Nigga.
Yeah.
And it was dope, but the problem was, I was like, what's up with your show? Because I had seen him perform with my son, and it was disgusting.
Oh,
Right?
damn.
So, you know, for me, you're not an artist unless you can perform those records live.
Yeah.
And I have a big stage, and we have a band. No, actually, I had a big stage, and I was like, you got to rehearse, and you got to do a band, and that's all that's going to count. So he actually was doing the performance, and he brought the band, and then I hired him, and we literally, like, they got fired, though, a couple times, and we've gone through that whole process. But for the last 4 or 5 months, he's been performing nonstop with a live band. So, you know, and then through showing him, because I'm teaching people like, yo, forget like thinking everyone makes a record, everyone makes a video. You make your money on the road. You make your money selling merch. And if you don't have a good show, you will not make any bread. And I'm not standing behind it unless live you could do it. And now his show was crazy. He turned, he's crazy now. It's just amazing to watch the whole.
But you know what, Dane?
But
We
he
don't
put the work in, though.
We don't get that finish in school anymore. You know what I'm saying?
They never. That's what I was always mad at. Is once I learned that, I was like, how come Lior and all these other executives did not teach that to these artists? That the show is what sustains you.
Yeah, man.
You know, they don't teach them that. But again, so what happened was when I knew I was gonna do the warrant thing and go turn myself in, I was like, fuck it. When I get out the next day, let's just do a show. And we just started rehearsing, and I was showing him that if I could get up on that stage and rehearse records and, give hooks, and all of a sudden it started to sound good, and I had an album, I had 30 records, just fucking around teaching those guys how to do it. And I was like, now let me show you how to do it. So we went to New York, and he killed the load. My group's called the Black Guns. My name is Billy Pablo III. Do It All from
Lords?
For the Lords was well, actually the Lords actually came. I did a quick project with them. But we performed Do It All, Tretch, OC. It's all documented. Band killed it in the Lower East Side. This club called Canaries the other day. We knocked that out, and then he left. But then I went and did another show in Newark with Do It All. But the point is, his show game right now is what I'm proud of, and that was when I was comfortable coming outside, and also, like he went through like Artist 101 like boot camp. Like I would, I'm, you could ask him. He went through a lot, to get, and he always resilient, respectful, and he's been doing things that a lot won't do for their career. So like a lot of people come around because while I'm making movies, there's artists around and I make music, and we make the music. But I'm telling all these artists like, yo, we could do shows at my spot, but I'm not your manager. I'm not like, all you need is a booking agent and a publicist, and just hit the road, make your merch. and you good. I'll make the record. We could put them out and we could rehearse them, but that's what you have to have. I'm not doing this. I do this for fun. I don't monetize. I'm trying to sell a network. And the next week he goes and does everything that I say. Like, he listens. Like, you know what I mean? Because like, there might be 3 artists that have projects, but he's the only one that's actually pushing it forward. Right. That's actually like, yo, I'm gonna go get Big Boy. Like, I'm like, you get
Hassan,
Big Boy.
why do you pay attention to Dame?
Man, because, you know, being around him, you know, it's funny because people say, what have you learned about the music business by being around Dame Dash? And I say, I've learned some, but I've learned more about family business. Mm-hmm. I've learned more about how, like, he created, like, I just went and watched The Irishman the other night, and I was like, man, it was like a mafia vibe of, like, how he creates, you know, everything being around family and, like, going and just seeing how he is with his family and his daughters. And, you know, so it's taught me just respect on the level of, like, you know, he always says, the more you prepare, the more you care. Mm-hmm. And I see that just with everything in his life, you know, and so as a man, it's just being around him is, so by default, I become a better, you know, musician or whatever.
But also he did end up playing his album before Kanye West, you know, like things yield. So I'm not that dude that says, if you do this, this will happen, and then it doesn't happen. You're just sitting around waiting. You do the right thing. In my world, you do the right thing. Like, if his dream was literally to sit and play his album for Kanye, I watched his dream come true.
Which it was.
And it happened in a week only because he did the right thing.
Right. Yeah.
You know, if his dream, like he said, his dream is to sit here and do an interview, that happened because he listened. Respect will make your dreams come true. And respect is not convenient. It's not when it feels good. It's when it makes you uncomfortable. When, you know, someone feels like, damn, I don't agree with him, but because I respect him, I'm going to do what he says anyway. That's respect. And I'm not going to say a fucking word about it because he deserves that, because he's taking care of the people, because he sold all these records. To not listen to me would be retarded. It would not be logical.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm Dame Dash. Why would you not listen to Dame Dash?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Now, if I was like 0-20 instead of 20-0, I could dig it. You know what I'm saying? But I just keep getting wins. And in every generation, I got so many different kinds of W's. I can't be wrong in this moment. I'm just not wrong because I keep yielding. I got too many rings. You know what I'm saying?
And that's what's so awesome, because it's like, man, you know, him being, you know, like, you know, we like what he said, the track record, the Jay-Z, the Kanye. It's so awesome to know that I got the next 10 years of music. Yeah, this is so cool.
Hey, dude, how do you pronounce the name of your album? And what is it?
Mesopotamia.
Mesopotamia.
My father was born in Baghdad, Iraq. My grandfather was actually decapitated by Saddam Hussein when they came in with the regime. So my father became like political refugee with his 15 brothers and sisters. You know, they got like mad kids and stuff. And yeah, they fled to like Syria, Lebanon with the Kurdish people, and they actually ended up living in Egypt for 2 years. So it's funny because the album cover is actually the pyramids in the middle of LA. Album cover is beautiful. But and all that, us playing the album for Kanye is out. The whole documentary will be out tomorrow. So
that's dope.
Yeah, so we have on record Kanye saying, I want to be on Sand Nigga.
I heard that. So, and did people have a problem with that title?
Oh, tons. Yeah, like Talib Kweli.
Until they found out GLC didn't like it either.
Yeah, GLC. And these are people that I love, and I like, you know, like, so it's almost like, man, I don't want to let down people, you know, like mentors, like people that I looked up to. So, you know, it's just conversation.
If you have your mentors, if you stimulate a conversation with your mentor, then you did something.
Yeah.
But it should be not.
What was the narrative behind like a Talib Kweli? Like, you know, because you see it looked fucking crazy, to tell you the truth. But, and you said, what's the backstory?
Yeah, you don't know the backstory. That's the part of it. He likes, like I said, he's like Middle Eastern Kanye. He likes the shock value, but then have explanation after. Mm-hmm. So, like, people like to stimulate conversation. They like to invoke emotion. But then when they do invoke the emotion and you're angry, they like to see you walked off a ledge once you see the clarity of why you did it in the process. So people start out mad, and then when they hear like, yo, well, yeah, you did feel this pain, you can say nigga. And to me, the way I looked at it was, he was saying, yo, they call y'all nigga, they call us sand nigga. They treat us worse than they treat y'all. And I think that's what I got from the record. You know what I mean? So I just thought it was like, yo, there's nigga and sand nigga, we're all the same. You feel me?
Yeah, the whole record.
But GLC was tight. He was like, nah, bro, player.
Nah, you're right.
Doing that, player. But also a lot of people look at him, and it's hard because he's not dark-skinned to see a lighter dude saying that. But I think if he was darker, I don't think anybody would care. Like, you don't really know he's Middle Eastern until he says it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So you might not know he's Middle Eastern, you know?
So what, as far as music, bro, Like, I know you with Dame. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you got to stand out on your own too. You know what I'm saying? Is there the so-called vision? You know how some people say, man, I just want to get in and I want to shake it up. I want to do this. Like now that you here,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? What's the tomorrow?
Man, just figuring out how to, with anything that, might cause confusion is then to come and, bring healing.
He wants to cause chaos and clean it up. That's what he wants to do.
And that's what they say, man, to get attention to you. I remember when I took speech class, it was like, people not going to listen to you unless you scream out first.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Unless you give them a reason to pay attention to you. And that's what we all need. We need a reason for people to pay attention to us. Then when they start to pay attention, that's when you show either what your talent is, what your message is, or whatever it is like that. You
have to have a point of view, and you have to have a voice, and you have to be unapologetic. And when you do that, you don't stand in a crowd because most people just want to fit in. Just being different is a win in this world. Everyone is just only feels confident in a crowd. So when someone does stand out, it's different.
Hey, man, when Kanye said, you can't tell me nothing, has that always been a thing with you too, Dane? Like, really?
No, certain people can tell me something.
Right.
But if you haven't done what I've done, you can't tell me nothing. And that's what Kanye meant. So you can't tell me how to be a boss unless you've been a boss. You can't tell me how to deal with losing money unless you've lost money. You can't tell me how it feels to win unless you've won. You can't tell me how to win unless you've won. I don't want to hear about your conspiracy or your theory. I only want to logically know about facts that yield. And that's the way. Don't tell me nothing unless you can get me or tell me how to get what I want. And the only way you could do that is if you've done it. I don't care. Everyone says, oh, they get offended because they haven't done it. That means you can't play the game. Right. You can't play my game. As much as people want to play my game, until you walk in my shoes, until you're a boss, until you put, like, the other day I was having a conversation with Master P.
Mm-hmm.
Now I got to listen to him. I'm not, like, he can tell me something.
Yeah, man.
You understand what I'm saying? There's certain people Kanye will not tell that to, but I think generally that was for the other 99 million people in this world that try to tell him what to do that aren't doing shit he's doing. It's annoying for fans to tell you how to play that's never played. It's annoying for someone to tell you how to, act when you get punched in your face and you've never been punched in the face.
Right.
It's annoying to hear that all the time from people that want to talk about you because they don't do it and they want to live vicariously through you to the extent that they get mad when you don't do what they want. That's ridiculous. That means you need to get your life together.
What's the move now and what's the next move for Dame Dash, if you could reveal?
Television network.
Yeah.
I'm going after Disney. The conversations I'm having, the Comcast, Verizon, and, those kind of things. And over the air, I just launched over the air in Charlotte. I'm about to do Atlanta. Real television, 24 hours. You could go to DTV24hours.com, and if it's not in your market, you could actually see 24 hours. Or you could go to Dame Dash Studios, and you'll see my streaming service, original programming, and all, like, scripted, docuseries, music, history, health is wealth, meaning vegan shows, yoga shows, therapy shows, ancient history shows. So we got Healing is Gangster with Taj. Your man was in here. Your man was in. Where's he at? He was here. He was at the spot with Taj doing the therapy. Taj is from out here. And then we have Healing is Sexy. That's therapy for women. We have art shows. We have, my Anthony Bourdain running around the world just getting high everywhere.
Right.
We went 2 series, all done. I ain't talking about it. It's there. See, I don't like hustling on a crowded block. And I like the yield. So it's like, music is ridiculously crowded. It's like selling nickels. Everybody's in it. And fashion is hard. It's cash intensive. I'm there. I did it. Rachel Roy, Rockware, all that. I did it. No one has a television network. That's a relatively empty block. No one's there. I'm alone.
Is Revolt a television network?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No one has a television network. I'm the only one there. I make scripted and I make original and I do all those things. And I own it 100%. I'm not a face of a fund. So there's no disrespect to Revolt at all. They're a television network, but we're just a different kind of television network. And, hopefully, well, to me, Revolt was always very similar. Creative Control, an internet television network I had with Kudi and Shige. And I was able to look at Revolt and learn the business from any mistake or anything good that he did. I just get to watch it. The perspective and the perception and what I need to do when someone from another world gets into a different industry. But, him and I run our things different. You know what I mean? So I'm a director. I actually make the content. I don't know what he does, and I do scripted. You know, and I'm starting the network with scripted. You know, not music.
Right.
So I'm starting more like what you should compare me to. I don't think it's a comparison, but what you should compare me to is like HBO, you know, or Stars maybe, or right, or Vice mixed with HBO. You know, like there's new.
And how do we find the name again? And I'm
you
going
can order. You can order it right now. Everyone in here can order it from anywhere. Dame Dash Studios right now, and that's the streaming service. You know, it's $7 a month, but you get the first week free. And if you want to see the 24 hours, if it's not in your market, in your area, you could go to DTV24hours.com and you will see Dash Diabetes Network. I mean, I have so many different things on there. It's like, so I guess this agenda is to have a network that's run by us.
Yeah. And you know what's crazy?
Let me say this. We don't have a platform to make our own people. We don't have our own CNN. My agenda more than anything with this is to empower the politicians, the congressmen and the senators that are fighting for us every day and passing the laws that we complain about, and also teach the younger generation how to really help instead of talk about doing things. It's meant to be deprogramming because we're programmed to be complacent and to accept the fact that, again, we're supposed to be happy that someone gives us a job that we don't own and make sure that our kids have to work. And that's ridiculous. We're supposed to make sure our children don't have the same problems that we have or else we have failed.
Yes, sir.
And that's what this network is about. It's a point of view. And I started with a streaming service first, before the network. So the direct-to-consumer relationship is the most important because there's no middleman there. You get full margin. So if I got a network and I don't have Comcast to distribute it, how's anybody going to see it? But if you have an app and people get it direct, you have your own distribution and you could do whatever the fuck you want to do. And if somebody else wants to come on it like Comcast, they'll have to work on my rules. So if I got 100,000 people paying $700 a month, that's $700,000 a month. I'm independent. That's great. If I get 1 million people, shit, that's $7 million a month. $1 million? And that's just one, just like so instead of it being like, you get a hit record, you get this. Nah, if I get a hit TV show, movie, doc.
Yes, sir.
Big money for my kids. Not even me.
Dang.
Big money for my kids.
Appreciate you coming into the
If it's
neighborhood.
not big money for your kids, then that money's funny.
Hello.
If it's not kids' money, big money for your kids' money. Big money for your kids' money, then it ain't no money. If it's jury money, house money, self-preservation money, selfish money, if it's not money that makes sure your kids go to college if they want, but you have $60,000 a year to put into a business, then you ain't make the right kind of money. And the right kind of money makes money forever. Residual income. Content gives you residual income. The kind of money where you sit by the pool, you don't have to work, and it just comes in. Because when you're an artist, you don't want to be 60 on the road. You want to fucking sit by the pool. You don't want to be running on a tour bus 300, 200 days out the year when you're 65. You just don't. You want to sit there and chill sometime. At least, you know, I know I do.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sorry for cutting you.
Thank you for coming into the neighborhood,
Appreciate
bro.
you,
No, easy call, bro. And Hassan, we'll be seeing you again soon.
Yes, sir, man.
Man, thank y'all for coming into the neighborhood, man. Big Boy's
Big
neighborhood.
Boy.